experience.
Yes. Hi, everyone, and welcome again to another live from Hannah and Bogdan. And today we're going to focus on qualifications versus experience related to the problems you can solve for your clients. Bogdan, take it away.
All right, so there's a lot of mystery around because we often think that the more qualification I have, the better I can be. I can be more employable. But that is true for people who are looking for a job. Then yes, your resume looks thick with all those qualifications listed, but in reality, tutoring clients, when they want you to help them, they don't care about your qualifications that much. They don't need your qualification because there's so many people with similar qualifications. Then so what? For example, let's say you want to establish solution to the following problem. You want to help students to improve fraction skills so that they can lower their anxiety and then boost their confidence. So let's say that's your mission. So in order for you to do that, qualification in your math level or university level, it's not relevant. But when you have this idea in your mind, then you would create a program with strategies how to help your clients with those fractions. So your ideal clients will be, let's say, 12 years old, 13, 14 years old students, and they have specific problems, and you come along to solve that problem for them. So parents of those kids, they're not looking for the highest qualified teacher where his resume is very long and thick. They just want immediate results with their students. So you would build a program. You know who your client is, and then you know what your niche is. So you working backwards. Whether you have qualifications or not, it is in that case, it's not really that critical. Experience sometimes may be blocking your options as well because you have a lot of experience behind your belt. And then you say, well, I can teach anything and everything on the planet. But that sort of takes your focus away from, do I have a niche? Oh, I don't have a niche because I thought my qualification can serve so many people in this world. It is not the case. In reality, you have to stand out with specific problem solving skills. You have to develop a program that helps your clients to get results. And you focus on those particular clients that you have developed your program for. So you become a master of your domain. Whether you have a qualifications or not, a lot of experience or just starting, it's not critical because once you start focusing on what you really want to do, that is aligned with your passion, that is aligned with what your mission is all about, then you just work on that. For example, you would have to spend more time on researching what your clients are, how to attract them, what problems do they have, how your solution fits that group, and you just build. It's a process that has to be very well thought out, planned, so that you can actually succeed. So don't get distracted by the idea that I have to take another course. Yes, you do take course, you spend money on extra qualification courses, but that works for, as I said, when you're looking for a job. If your job is online tutor, then it's a different mindset. You have to have a plan set up, but you zoom in on the niche, you have the program, and then you just attract clients by helping them with that solution that you have for them to offer.
Yes, thank you, Bogdan. Hi, Claire.
Hi,
Hello,
Hannah. Hi, Bogdan.
how are you?
I was just going
I'm
to
good.
add that with the online teachers, when it comes to language and EFL especially, or any other language, I would say that it is essential that you have some sort of teaching background, training, not necessarily qualification, but training. So at least you know how to approach the studying part, how to schedule, how to design a program, how to design a lesson, and all these things that come into learning acquisition. Because without this, just being a native speaker of the language is not going to be enough. And I think that many people are struggling with that. Whether they do, I need to have a qualification. Well, I would say yes, you do need to have some sort of qualification, but I wouldn't necessarily say a degree, unless it is you're going to be focusing on teaching the subject itself. But a degree in itself, it's not really a qualification to teach. Teaching training or qualification is something that is going to assist you in becoming a better educator, and knowing your learners' needs and being really able to uh, assist them more effectively. So, and the qualification that you might have, and also your experience that you have gained throughout your life, is going to assist you in creating the niche. Because let's say you did a degree in applied linguistics, so you will have lots of knowledge about the language itself, how it's created, etc. And maybe you specialized in pronunciation, or something on those lines, and then you had experience with tutoring people from a specific country, and they have got a common problem that you have noticed. So your niche could be assisting those this particular group of people with resolving their issues, so becoming more fluent, and also more uh, more focused on what tasks to assign to the students to help them resolve that issue in the shortest possible time. Because that's what a niche program really is designing a program that is 10 to 15 lessons maximum, and within that time you're going to resolve the students' issues that they're having. Because that's usually, if your program is short enough, they will come to you for a quick solution, something that is visible within a short period of time. So definitely, thank you. Claire, have you got anything that you'd like to share with us?
I have to say, I do think that a level of qualification and professionalism is better for teaching. Just from the Preply viewpoint, there are so many new tutors who just have no idea about English grammar and how sentences are formed, and no idea how to teach it. And I think it degrades the professionalism. I
Absolutely.
started with a Montessori training for children, but it was all about one-on-one. There was a whole teaching English as an additional language module that I did. I was working in an international school, and it was really beneficial. And I've gone on since that. I did choose to do a teaching degree that has been relevant and useful, and then TEFL and IELTS training, onto different things, and I think it makes a real difference with how you can communicate with students. And I think it is often reflected in the prices that we can charge. Yeah. People say, why can I only charge a few dollars? Because you've got no skills in what you're doing. It links together, I think.
Indeed. I mean, I started to learn English when I was 9 years old, because I'm originally Polish, and all my education was really focused on getting my degree and language skills in English. So from that age, I kind of continued until now to in some sort of professional development. I didn't just get my knowledge of language from nowhere and skills how to teach from experience. You need to have some sort of theoretical input so you can actually then implement it. I mean, I got TEFL, I did applied linguistics degree, and then I did life coaching qualifications as well. So I could say I'm well equipped in what I'm doing, and at the same time, my years of experience has helped me identify what people are struggling with and see and add in my other skills and experience to help me with being in the niche what I am, which is mentoring tutors, because my background is EFL. I know I've been mentoring tutors for years when I was working in Bahrain and even in the UK. So people who were coming into the new profession, that we were mentoring them, teaching them how to actually be in the class and what to look out for when you are dealing with the students, what kind of tasks to design so they actually are learning, noticing in this when you are interacting with the students, noticing the body language that they are showing to you, that there is lack of understanding, because sometimes teachers don't see that the body language is like another language that people sometimes are not observant enough to kind of respond to. And I think having some sort of qualification in training in any language teaching or any kind of teaching is absolutely crucial. I mean, at the beginning of 2000, there was a big campaign in the UK where we had was a national qualifications framework came in, and everybody who was teaching ESOL, English to speakers of other languages, had to go through some sort of training, because their understanding was that just being a native English speaker was not enough to actually teach and give the results. So everybody who was in the profession at the time, colleges or not, we all had to go through this training. Whether you had some sort of background in training or not, you still had to do it because there was a governmental requirement. And I believe that what is happening right now with the explosion of online teaching, seems to be forgotten, that there needs to be some sort of training. And I am not quite convinced about those TEFL qualifications that you can get online when you don't actually have any physical training with the students. I mean, I'm not diminishing the fact that they are trying, but having the contact with students is is imperative, because how else are you going to get the experience if you don't actually deal with them? So I would say, if you guys are looking for any EFL training in TEFL, make sure that your TEFL qualification has got some contact hours, even if it is online. Get some contact hours with the students. Do some practice with the students in terms of just one-to-one, do some voluntary work so you can apply the skills you learned, and have somebody observe you to see whether what you are doing is right, and give you some pointers. And don't take it in the wrong way. Use it as a constructive criticism, I would say. So
yes, I would even go as far as to say, I think a non-native speaker who has learnt the grammar and learnt the language
is better.
Quite possibly going to be better than some kid out of school, or some person who, yes, speaks English fluently, but they've just because they've never had to think about it.
Exactly.
They can't explain any of it. Whereas a non-native has learnt it step by step quite often, and therefore can explain it. But these kids who are coming on now to these teaching platforms, and they don't know what they're fair enough to have a conversation, but the students don't understand the difference between having a conversation with somebody and having a lesson, and they think they're paying for a lesson. And these folk, bless them, they don't want to pay for materials. They don't want to pay for professionalism. Oh no, they just want whatever they can pick up for free. And of course, British Council and stuff does offer some good materials for free. But really, it's not enough to cover the fact that they don't know what they're teaching.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm going to be contrarian because otherwise
Good,
the
good.
conversation will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
kind of okay. I would like to propose the following: to give hope to online tutors that are just starting. My premise, based on my personal experience, professional experiences, you don't need to have anything to help someone to solve a problem other than that skill that you're just focusing on to solve a problem. And why is that possible? For example, in today's high school math curriculum across the globe, there's not much learning going on in terms of intense program. At least North America is like has been watered down for the last 2 decades significantly. So any high school graduate, if he or she knows that program, is able to go back and reteach that to anyone if she or he chooses to do that. There was a lot of peer tutoring taking place in schools where students teach other students, and they are very good at it. So, for example, that particular person, if he or she wants to become an online tutor, helping with, let's say, algebra quadratic equations, for example, that could be a good candidate for starting online tutoring business without having any teaching qualification, because that's the qualification that they experience that replaces the qualification. And this person may not teach anything else, just helping parents to help their kids to get through quadratic. So that my story. I know also on the other hand, there's a lot of teachers with like lines of qualifications on the resume, but they have no idea how to teach. We know them from our experience. Like when you were in school, some teachers, you didn't want to go to that classroom, and they had qualifications, right? And they were paid by their institution. And I know that they exist today. I work with people like that, and kids even know in schools like, "Oh, I cannot ask that person questions in math because I may not get the answer." But on paper, on the surface, they have qualifications. So yes, those people who have qualification and poor sort of teaching skills, they probably don't pick up online tutoring as a venture. They don't venture. They just stay in the building, sort of teaching classrooms, and that's how they sort of live their life. Anyone who wants to follow their passion and has a call, let them prove themselves for the world. They have to do their own self-education as they grow. But I don't want to take it away from them and tell them, if you don't have any qualification, you should not start. I would argue that a lot of those people without official qualification, they earn better earnings online than a lot of qualified teachers with 200 sort of extra courses, degrees, you name it, and they struggle. They struggle because their mindset is very different, right? They think that I know I have a PhD degree in physics, so my student should be knocking on my door, but it's not the case.
That's true.
There's two sides to that, and I like to turn the table, ladies.
I was no, if you notice what I was saying, some sort of teacher training, not necessarily qualification, some sort of training in terms of what you need to have some sort of training in terms of how to deliver a lesson, what stages.
Yeah,
So you don't necessarily need to have a qualification as per se, but the training. So I think let's put it this way. You need to have the training, not the qualification. Okay, qualification necessarily doesn't mean anything really, because we know even now that as long as, like Bogdan was saying, as long as I know how to solve somebody's issue, whether it is from my own experience I have, or I've learned from other mentors, that, and I know how to relay it to others, how to help them, and I've got some results, then you're good to go. But when it comes to learning the language, having some sort of training in terms of the language knowledge of how the language is built, what goes into it, because you're going to be teaching those things. So you need to teach yourself these things. And sometimes the qualification actually helps to get that knowledge. So I would say we need to probably distinguish between qualification, training, and experience. And you could either just combine the three together if they are aligned with what your niche is, or just choose the training and the experience if it's in the language teaching. If you have a qualification, let's say in IT, but not, and you want to teach IT language, you still would need to know to get how to teach people, because you cannot kind of um, that's when it comes to teaching the language related to IT. But if you're going to help people solving IT problems, which is with the laptops, etc., that's a different game ball. Okay, that's a different story altogether. But when it comes to combining the language part with the skill that you want to do, I would say you would need some sort of the training in that. Someone is just asking, what steps do you think a student should take to reach his or her desired goals? Well, it depends what they are, and I think establishing what a goal is, it's the first thing, and then working with a mentor to be working on a daily basis to achieving. So breaking down of the steps, identifying the steps that you need to take to your goal and to reach your goal, and then take daily actions to achieving that. That's what it is really, I would say, desire to achieve your desired goal. Bogdan, what do you
Yes, we have to. So there, because this is very broad questions, right? Could mean many different things. Because what students, if they don't know what steps to take, they would not take them. So we have to help them to show them the strategies, right? We have to provide them the quick fix, if you will, and also we need to be mindful of that. The repetition is required, right? The understanding why they need to do that to achieve their goal. Because the tool in itself, it's maybe a solution for today, but down the road, they may forget the reason behind it. So they will struggle again with the different goals because they don't know that the mindset really is the driving force. The tool is good to have, but without knowing why I'm doing it, it's hard to get our mind to stay on track, to be motivated. That's a good question. Thank you.
Oh, you've got your granddaughter.
Yes.
My
Lovely.
very new grandson, but I'm keeping it
Oh,
mute because
grandson.
he's not quite quiet. Yes,
Oh,
but it's
bless
very
her.
new.
So qualifications, yes, it is not really that critical, right? But training, as you said, because a lot of many professionals, teachers also take online trainings, not necessarily to get this on their certificate or add it to their resume, but they just get training. Like we provide training for teachers to establish themselves as online tutors. So yes, training is important. It's very important, and then because we need to work on our skills, as this is like a continuing education. We learn, new strategies come along, innovative things, world is changing, so you have to be always at pace with all changes that are required. But to start with, you can start with anything and see if this is your passion, if this is really what you want to do, right? You don't have to work first to get your certificates, qualifications on paper in order to start online business. You can work in parallel, right? You could be a teacher in teachers college that you want to immerse yourself in online tutoring, and you can still be successful as long as you follow the strategies that are required for you to be successful for your online.
Yes, indeed. Right. So much. So remember, guys, you don't need to be qualified as long as you've got training of some sort to know how to teach and the experience relevant to what you're going to solve as a problem to your students, then you're good to go. So that is quite useful when you're starting to identify your niche and define it, because you can then incorporate all your life experiences and your job experiences that you've had into it, and try to combine it with the skills that you have, and see whether that will take you somewhere to actually help other people who are looking for those skills to learn, and you being their mentor. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, Claire. And next time, we're going to meet on Sunday, right? For our live session. And this time on Sunday, we're looking at creating a niche-based program versus individual sessions. Which is best and why? So tune in, because that is quite a useful task for you guys to understand, especially those who are just teaching individually, like from one lesson to another, and see what's the difference and how you actually can benefit from having a program that is enabling you to target the students in a better way and get charged higher and upfront. And so, and most of all, solve your clients' problems in a short period of time. So thank you so much again for coming into our, to our live today, and we'll see you guys
Thank you, guys.
next
See you
time.
next time.
Bye bye for now.